Welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. As a disclaimer, this channel is for entertainment purposes. These are my opinions, not here to slander anyone, may speculate a little. But with that being said, let's get started. Today, I've got some pretty shocking news for you. Not really shocking, it's just a verification of shocking news that I've posted in the past. I like to verify myself as I go. So, first thing I want to discuss though is this morning, there was a doc drop for that video for that hearing that they had on the IGG. And again, folks, the IGG is nothing, right? It's absolutely nothing. However, it is smart on Ann Taylor's part, because if she's able to discredit the IGG, and basically what she's trying to do, because it keeps stating in the IGG over and over, or in the court documents over and over, that they don't want the defense talking to people in Brian Kohberger's family tree in the IGG without court approval first. What they're scared of is they're going to find somebody that either adopted a child or had a child out of wedlock, which would have impaired the genealogy line. And if they can find somebody like that, interview them, verify that it's true, they can discredit the IGG altogether, which the IGG didn't lead to anything. They're not bringing it up in court, so it's kind of a moot point. But if they can prove the IGG is wrong, then she knows that her main goal is to discredit the confidential informant in the case. She knows there's one. That's why she files all of those motions talking about discrediting the reliability of the confidential informant. So that's all it is. And when we talk about the confidential informant in the Kohberger case, well, I'm going to bring it to you tonight, folks. Put it there for you in black and white and continue my timeline. Here it goes.
Everybody wants to know, how did they get to Brian Kohberger? Well, here it is, folks. This is the informant timeline through December 20th of 2022. And I think it's an easy path to this, especially if you've watched my previous videos. Now, this is not everything in the timeline. This is just the informant aspect of it. But you're going to see, starting to the left, on September 14th, 2022, TF and TR are arrested for drug trafficking in Moscow, Idaho. Now, we've already discussed how it is my opinion that the mothers in the case set up TF and TR on that date to be arrested. And that set the ball in motion for the Aryan Brotherhood hit. Because TF is definitely a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. But on October 21st, TF is released on furlough. TR is released on a $75,000 bond. So that means somebody paid $7,500 at least to get her out of jail. Then we have November 13th, the atrocity at King Road. Next date on the informant timeline is December 2nd. TF is picked up in Spokane on his warrant for absconding from his furlough. Then December 15th, Kopaka is taken out by the Pullman SWAT team. December 19th, TF makes the deal of the century with Mabbitt, Thompson, and John Judge. So let's go through this, folks. Here is what I mean when I say the deal of the century. Because as you see on the screen, this is TF's charges. Drug trafficking in methamphetamine. That is a Schedule II drug, folks. Over 400 grams. That's over a pound. Possession of a controlled substance, drug paraphernalia, possessions with intent to use, and a couple of probation violations as well. That was his charges. Now, who was the judge in the case? Well, it was switched over from Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall on December 16th to Judge John Judge on December 17th. And you can see this plea arrangement was made with John Judge on December 19th, 2022. You'll see I have it underlined there. And by the way, the actual plea went through and a probation was given to this gentleman on December 20th. Now, what is the possible sentence for somebody drug trafficking over a pound of MTH? Well, you can see this is an easy Google search where the Idaho legislature under section 37-2732B is 400 grams or more, such person shall be sentenced to a mandatory folks, minimum fixed term of imprisonment of 10 years. Means the judge doesn't have the power to impose a sentence of less than that. And fined not less than $25,000, not less. But I want you to remember that, fined not less than $25,000, because let's see how much of a fine that he got. Okay, so here was his sentence right here. You'll see his confinement was the county jail, Latah, for 30 days. And you can see that 2 to 3 years sentencing. No, he wasn't even sentenced to probation for 2 to 3 years. His penitentiary suspended completely. He was charged $285.50 court cost. So by reducing those charges from drug trafficking and having to give him 10 years and a $25,000 minimum fine, this guy got 30 days and paid $285 in court cost and walked on December 19th. Now you think that's a little bit odd, folks? Who was all involved in this deal? Because to make a deal like that, the prosecutor has to agree with it. Well, he's got look down here, his public defender, Kathy Mabbitt, the coroner in the case. You think these people are actively involved in the Kohberger case or in the investigation in general? And we've got the prosecuting attorney, William Wolford Thompson Jr. And then, of course, John Judge was the judge overseeing the deal. So if you have any doubt in your mind who the informant is in this case, they should be gone by now. But it's going to get even more interesting in this one, folks. I've got some new stuff for you. So let's go through this timeline once again. We got TF and TR arrested on the 14th. 21st, they're released. November 13th, the atrocity happens. They're picked back up on December 2nd. At least TF is. Kopak is taken out by the Pullman SWAT team on the 15th. On the 19th, TF makes the deal of the century with Judge, Mabbitt, and Thompson. What happened on December 20th? Now, it was always my speculation, but now my speculation has been verified in court because Detective Payne admitted on the stand that on December 20th, that's when the actual investigation into Brian Kohberger started. That's when he talked to the officer at WSU about the Hyundai Elantra. So, verified. Doesn't stop there, though. Let's continue this timeline. December 29th, Brian Kohberger is arrested in Pennsylvania. TF's plea deal, though, isn't finalized until March of 2022. I wonder why. Because on March of 2022 is when the Aryan Brotherhood drug trafficking organization is taken down. Wonder who took them down. Now look at May 15th. We finally get our other person back into this, TR. She's testifying via Zoom in a hearing there in Latah. And then on May 16, 2022, Brian Kohberger is indicted. That's interesting dates there, isn't it? Now wait a minute. Let's go into TR for a second. What happened to her? All right, her road to freedom, because you can see her judicial officer, John Judge. And again, you see her charges, drug trafficking and MTH over 400 grams. We already heard what the sentences was for that. And then, she also had a controlled substance possession of Mary Jane. And she pleaded not guilty on both of those. You see that, folks? What happened? Who was her prosecutor? Again, it was William Wolford Thompson Jr. Imagine that, John Judge. What did her sentence turn out to be for her deal? Because look, it's effective date 7/12 of 2023. Wow, they pushed hers off a long ways, didn't they? What did she get? Did she get 10 years? Oh, no, she got county jail, Latah County Jail, 30 days discretionary. Heck, 15 days credit for time served. $285 in court costs. She got nothing. Ooh, she got absolutely nothing. How is that possible? Well, this is the one that I'm questioning, folks. Because on May 15, 2023, at a status conference, Original type status conference, judicial officer John Judge, hearing at 1 p.m. The hearing was held. It was held with her by Zoom. Now, wait a minute. Was it May 15th? Wasn't that the day the secret grand jury was being held? And it was being presided over by, Judge John Judge? So how is he presiding over a secret grand jury indicting Mr. Kohberger, but he still found time to hear this little lady's Zoom comments on a status conference? How's that possible? I'll tell you what, it isn't possible, folks, because that is the informant testifying in the secret grand jury against Mr. Kohberger. There it is, black and white. The last thing I want to say and point out is just bam, 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 bam.
Folks, so let me explain that bam, 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 bam part of that, okay? Because on December 19th, they had TF in custody making his deal. TF is the one who led them to Brian Kohberger. He gave them their name. He gave them his name. He gave him and Kopaka, I'm sure. That's what started the investigation into Kohberger. However, when you see all of the action in court about the FBI's involvement and how they don't want to turn over certain information, that information relates to TF. He's a big-time informant because he's the one they used to take down the Aryan Brotherhood in March. So he's not the main source or the main informant in the Kohberger case. They're using him for other things. He's very important to their big case. The person that they used to take down Mr. Kohberger in the indictment, as I just showed you, was TR. They held her back, and she's the one who testified in that secret grand jury. Now it all makes sense, because when you look at the Steve G texts, it showed the video of the lady walking up to the dumpster that everybody thinks is debunked. I assure you it's not. That was her walking to that dumpster, folks. She testified in the secret grand jury. Steve G had talked to people who had been on that secret grand jury, and they informed him of the informant in the case. That's why he said this BITCCH is actually helping Kohberger. That girl is a monster. He was talking about TR. It's all clear now. But that's the video for tonight. I'm releasing it members only. I'm probably going to release it to the general public, to all the other subscribers who are very important to me as well. I'm going to release it to them either tomorrow or maybe Wednesday night. But I wanted y'all to be able to get this information first and be able to stew on it for a minute before I gave it to everybody else. Post your comments, post your criticisms, post your thoughts. Until next time, Pavarotti's out.